Hey, and welcome to FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast, a podcast for people who want to get no BS information about fitness and know that fitness is about so much more than losing scale weight. It's about feeling confident in your skin and empowered in your life. I'm your host, Turo Virta, personal trainer, strength and nutrition coach, and most of all, a husband of my beautiful wife, Miriam. Each week, my guests and me will give you some no BS fitness tips and motivate you to take action in your own personal fitness journey as we talk about nutrition, exercise, mindset, personal development, and executing in life with enjoyable but still effective strategies. If your goal is to look better, feel and be strong and experience transformation from inside out, you, my friend, are in the right place. Thank you for jumping in, and now let's jump into today's episode. Hey, welcome to this FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast. In today's episode, I share a little bit story about my recent traveling trip to Mongolia and tips for traveling and when being sick or not able to work out. So, if you followed me in my social media, I was in last week came back from Mongolia. I was there for ice hockey and part of Ice Hockey World Championships. It was a low-level tournament, like a fourth division. So if you are not familiar with the divisions, those are like the lowest countries or lowest championship what is played in IIHF, International Ice Hockey Federation, and countries who were participating were Mongolia, Philippines, Indonesia, and Kuwait. So they are in the world. They are in ice hockey. Like if you take all the numbers, they are 52 to 56. So basically, last countries in rankings, and it was such a great experience, totally new level of hockey. Obviously, it was not something what we are used to here in Europe, but I was really, really surprised how passionate everybody were. Spectators, fantastic atmosphere, and so well organized tournament. So huge congrats for all. First of all, IIHF and also. Mongolian Ice Hockey Federation, as it was the first tournament ever. So they were not a little bit background, like Mongolia haven't been part of tournament, because the reason is that how to be able to participate for Ice Hockey World Championships, you have to have at least one ice hockey rink in country, and Mongolia didn't have, and they were building brand new stadium. It's 1 year old now, and now we were able to participate for World Championships. So it was a stadium brand new called Steppe Arena, and there were like in games what I was officiating, top game, final game was 3,600 spectators and amazing atmosphere. So such a great experience, and from hockey part, it was just a totally new experience for me. And I absolutely love to see like that passion, what is there behind. And after talking with the coaches and all team members from those countries, they have like very little capacity, and like Mongolians, they didn't have access for something what we have, for example, here in Europe or in North America, are totally normal, like pucks or equipment, ice hockey equipment. They said that earlier they didn't have any of those. Like they were just basically starting from zero, playing outside. And that was an interesting article what I was reading about their website, what they were published in, I think it was September 2022. They were excited about tournament, and they said that they had a huge problem with the ice hockey pucks, like those rubber pucks, because they are used to play outdoors, and outdoors it can be as cold as minus 40 degrees, and pucks are breaking in that cold. So they now, when they have at least one stadium where they can practice, play final games of their championship, it's a huge step forward. And it was such a great pleasure to meet new people, see how passionate they are, and how hard they are working toward making ice hockey more popular also in Asia and all over the world. But this was shortly about the tournament and about ice hockey part, and more what I would like to talk today is about first of all, how is the country of Mongolia, as I assume many of people won't have ever been. And to be honest, when I saw that I'm going there, I didn't even know where that country is. Like I knew that it's somewhere in Asia, but I had to take a Google and look at where is that country, as I didn't know. And it's very hard to get access to that country because there is no flights, or there's no ways to get into there or out there. Like when we arrived at the airport, I was looking like that they had it was their main city, like capital of the Mongolia, Ulaanbaatar, where we were. And Mongolia, it's a very big country, but have only 3 million people living there, and with around 1.5 million living in their capital. They have one airport in capital, and you can imagine capital of 1.5 million people. They had 14 flights in a whole day, and from those flights were one to Istanbul or towards to Europe, and I think one was Japan, and 2 of them were in Korea to Seoul, so the other direction. And those flights to Europe, they were not even every single day, so they were like I think 3 times a week, and all other flights, like 10 out of 14, were inside of Mongolia. So very, very difficult to get in there and out there. So traveling is not easy, and for me was traveling like over 20 hours to get there and 36 hours to come back to Italy. So it was something if I would pick up some vacation location, it probably wouldn't be the first place where to get. But like I said, experience was just amazing, and to see new different country, culture, learn from too. So traveling is always opening your eyes, and depending how you are looking things, and what I recognized or realized in Mongolia is that they have actually, there is kind of like that middle class is missing, that they have like either people were like very kind of poor in if I compare in Europe, and then they were like really like rich people. So kind of that middle class was missing from country itself. I really loved it, like how beautiful modern center they had in Ulaanbaatar, and also countryside. Countryside was very beautiful. Obviously, there was a very cold weather in end of March. When we get there, it was like a minus 15 degrees. And a lot of wind. So I was like, it was when I started here from Italy, we had like almost 20 degrees. Spring is coming, and getting back there, like it's such a huge drop of temperatures, and it was very cold, but air was a little bit dry. So that was kind of it doesn't feel that cold. That even there is a lot more minus degrees without wind. It was actually didn't feel that cold. Then I would say that if in Italy we have like -8 in winter, it feels a lot colder here than, let's say, -20 in Mongolia without wind. So it's a little bit about that temperature too. And during that 1 week, what we were there already, then on Monday was like a +10 degrees. So temperature raised 25 degrees. On highest temperature was -15 on Wednesday, and on 5 days later was already +10. So pretty massive temperature change during the time. Other things what I saw was that there was no trees. Like it's a place, I think altitude is like 1,300 meters, and there were no trees growing. Obviously at that height there were almost barely any trees or anything. Like only thing what was growing countryside was just the grass. And obviously now, when it was still their springtime, cold time of the year, everything was still like kind of brown and nothing was growing. But there were no trees, and that was kind of weird for me to see that there is no kind of nature at all. And Other things, what is totally different, like here in Europe, was that traffic was just a disaster. That's like for me, it's always that Asian style. Like if I compare, like in Finland, where I'm from, or I look in Italy, like where I live in northern Italy, there is no, like, nobody's everybody's driving kind of following rules, and there is like very little traffic, or if there is a traffic jam, it's like here, it's not, you might lose 30 minutes, and compared there, like it was just a disaster, like every single day, 7 days a week, from 6 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock in the evening, there was just an horrible traffic. Like our hotel was like a 16 kilometers, which is like a 10 miles, and getting to a rink, we took every day at least 45 minutes, and mostly you took almost 1 hour. And the best part was in middle of the city. Like, they were so nice for us and told that they are bringing us to some restaurant, and I knew that where that restaurant was, and it was like we were walking it was 15-minute walk, 1.5 kilometers, so 1 mile away, and we were sitting in a car 40 minutes to get there with the traffic, and by feet you would be there in 15 minutes. But obviously, when weather is so cold, there is windy, like, most of the people were choosing taking a car. And what the local people told us, that it's they have a huge problem with the cars, like that on average family who have, for example, 4 family members, they might have 5 cars. And that what I saw, that there were like there is no public transportation. There were no trams, no trains, just some buses, but buses were also standing in traffic. So it was just really disaster. And from that, it's that air, like when I'm used to live in a kind of what I consider like in middle of mountains, not too much traffic, not in big city, and air is just so much different. And it makes like that when you see that the kind of smoke at night, that there's like a big smoke, and you don't feel it that way. Like if I was there for a week, so you don't feel it that way. But if you can, I can just imagine what kind of impact that has in the long term. And if you are there for longer, so you probably don't want to spend so much time outside and getting so like a fresh air, as that's very far from fresh air. And the best example was when we got out first time from plane after Mongolia, was in when flying back home. We had an overlay in Vienna, and Vienna is a big city, and probably not the most famous one for best air, but to get there and breathe fresh air, it felt like that, oh wow, that I haven't felt this kind of air for a week. So that's the way how you felt the difference. And about food wise, what they had in Mongolia, obviously there's nothing growing, so there were a lot of animals, and meals were just mostly meat, just different type of meats, and all kind of meats with some kind of source of like a rice or potatoes or some source of carbs. And it's you didn't see too much like fruits or vegetables, and those which were there available, obviously they looked kind of same than in Italy, but they didn't taste not even close to same. So it just makes me appreciate so much where I'm living, what kind of access I have for fresh vegetables, fruits, or which maybe they are not all grown here, but at least they are. It's a lot better, or better way to see it, like what kind of options they have, for example. And then, but this is shortly how was the country. I want to keep this relatively short, as I would love to. I would have so many stories, but I want to now focus more on trips, on traveling. Like this is something what I look like kind of. I try to not post social media or anything, because I was thinking like that. I'm 1 week of my life in Mongolia. Who knows? Most likely, I will never get there in my life again, or if I do, I'm not going to be there too many times. at least in near future. So I was thinking that I rather enjoy that moment and take everything out I can from that travel, and not to focus on work or doing anything else. Just simply relaxing, enjoying, and experiencing totally new thing and experience for me. And how I like to see, I always like, we were with a group of other referees, a group of guys, and what I like, I kind of hate doing it, but it's automatically in me. Like I kind of see my work everywhere, and it's obviously, I'm not talking about it all the time. I don't say anything, but it's just in my mind, like that I'm just looking what kind of decisions people are making, how they are behaving in airport, what kind of, when we go to eat, what they are choosing to eat, if they would make something better, what kind of behaviors people have in general, like and just the normal people who are not any like fitness fanatics, or just some normal travelers. And were a couple of things what I paid attention, and what I want to share with you, that if you are traveling a lot, because it's something like that, it's, I don't do it so much. I don't enjoy doing it, but it's just that I was like that, okay, it's nice to experience new places, but if that is your work, that you are traveling every single week, you better be prepared and follow some kind of strategies. Like if it's kind of once in a year thing, vacation thing, it doesn't make that big difference. But if that is kind of your lifestyle, that makes such a big difference. And here are some tips what I did already within this time, and what I didn't see almost anybody else doing. And first thing is at airport walking. Like I'm just I don't know, it's in my like kind of goal that I need to get my steps in. And when we had when I look around at the airport, like 95% of people, they are sitting, waiting that the plane that there is boarding, there is you have some layover or something, and you are waiting that your turn is to get into a plane and sit again for who knows how many hours. And this is something for me that I'm not going to sit there. I'm going to walk around. Like I don't need to buy anything or watch around, but I'm going to walk. If I'm close to my gate, I take a steps, I walk there, like looking like that, okay, I can get another 2,000 steps just by walking, because I'm going to sit anyway in a plane for next hour. So what is the point sitting and waiting for to go to sit for another hour? So because it's end of the day, you have like maybe 2,000 steps, and you might think that it doesn't make a big difference, but these are all kind of habits. What I talk here is that if you do it, if you think it now it doesn't matter, but then next time you have similar kind of situations, don't have to be at the airport, but if you prioritize like that, are you going to take a car? Are you rather walking? Then it's all about some of those decisions, and that is how you become also. And then that is like a walking at the airport. And other thing with walking is that when I had a possibility to take stairs, I always took stairs. And funny fact was that I didn't see, there was one other guy from our group who was taking stairs, but everybody else just taking they were taking that escalator or elevator, and like escalator was full of people, and stairs there was nobody else. So these are like kind of things like that, why you should be doing them. But these are all like I said, these are these small things what actually makes in the long run all the difference. And it's not now only about airport. Like this is you can use these tips in every area of your life. Like if you are in building, do you have possibility to take stairs, or are you going to use escalator or elevator to get there? So it doesn't feel like exercise, but if you do it every single day, if you are living in third floor and you take every time stairs, that's in the end of the week, end of the month, end of the year, that's a lot of extra movement, what is not, you're not counting as exercise, but you have, for example, burning calories, everything, it's so much beneficial, and there's so big advantage. And other thing, what I did actually when we get there, I was prepared. I have my loving wife prepared some meals for me. I had some eggs with me. I had some fruits with me. So I have some kind of protein source, what I was bringing with me. So because I knew that it's going to be long travel, and I better be prepared. And this is something like those my friends, they were laughing at me when I took out and started to eat my egg and fruit. Like that, they were just, yeah, we go for a burger. Yeah, you go for it. I don't mind. It's totally up to your decisions. But these are like, if it's a one time, like I said, I would go easily. I would have no issue going with the burger or anything. But this is just who I am, because I know that in a plane, I'm not going to eat ideally what I rather want, and then at least to have, because it's so hard to get your protein in, get your vegetables, get your fruits in, especially if you are traveling. So I said, okay, I bring some protein sources with me and have some fruit. So I have my minimum requirements, what I try to get for myself every single day, hitting certain amount of protein, getting some fiber, and then rest. Once you hit those two things, everything else becomes so easy. You are feeling fuller. I didn't feel hungry all the time or anything. So then everything else is kind of automatically getting so much easier. Because if you are lacking of protein, you eat some burger or something at the airport, you are going to be hungry within next hour, probably again. And what options, what choices you have, that those options, they are not the most beneficial for your overall health. So it's all about those small decisions, how you are preparing and what you are like, because when you don't have impact so much what you are going to eat. So like obviously in a plane, you can't decide what you are going to eat. You have maybe one or two options what you are going to get. But then if you know that, okay, I have at least this, I have certain amount of protein, at least I have my fruits, I have my vegetables. So that is already kind of checked for those days. And then when we got in there, and like those were the biggest at the airport. Like obviously, if you go shopping, you will find maybe some protein shakes, some Greek yogurt you will find. So those are like making some smarter choices and thinking like that always where to get what is good healthy source of protein, for example, how to get it in, and not going like because it's very easy to go that there is nothing available. So they don't care at the airport about your health and fitness goals. They are trying to serve you with delicious meals, and that's just you enjoy your meal. They don't care about your health and fitness goals. It's just that when it's delicious, their goal is done. You are happy, and they are happy. So those are at airport what I did, and hopefully you get some ideas how to be prepared and for traveling. So if you are going to vacation like I surely wanted to try all different foods, all local stuff what I don't have access when I'm at home, and when you are in a country or in a place what you are not so often, or like in my case, I knew that I'm not going to visit very soon or ever in my life again. So obviously I wanted to taste everything what I could, and but it doesn't mean that I can allow myself or I eat whatever I want, but you can still be smarter with your choices. And here are some things what I did. And if you think something sounds good for you, please feel free to steal them, try them for your next vacation. So it was one situation what was kind of funny for me. I was I was looking at the menu and I was thinking that what kind of foods, what I wanted. And there were like a couple options what I was like that, okay, this sounds interesting. And also this. And then next question, what I asked myself that what is my source of protein? And because those are like the most important things what I'm not a big fan of counting calories or anything, but I try to hit my protein. I try to get as much fiber as possible. I don't count my fiber as a perfectly how it should be. If you don't know, it should be like around 28 grams per 1,000 calories you are eating. So my current diet is, I think it's around 3,000 calories. So goal would be to get 14 grams per 1,000 calories. So my goal would be to get around 40 grams of fiber. I'm not tracking it every single day, but more or less when I know sources, how much I get, I have fruits every day. So I kind of make sure that already with my breakfast, I have at least half of that amount of fiber. So this is what I do on my regular life. And now when I'm traveling, I focus rather only on proteins, and because that is simple to think. And now when I go out, for example, eating, I'm thinking that this sounds good for me. Like, what is my source of protein? Like, because it's not about hitting perfectly your protein goal or anything or any caloric goal, but to make sure that you have some source of protein. And what I have learned when I have tracked my food, like I said, I don't track it now accurately or not nowhere near perfectly, but I'm always thinking about over proteins. I think that what is my protein source? How much of protein I have more or less in this phase. Like, let's say that most of the meats, they have around 20 to 25 grams of protein per 100 grams. And if I have a option, I say that there is some steak what I want to eat, I would get, it's 200 grams, I would get 45 to 50 grams of protein. I said, okay, this is going to be my protein source. The next question is that what is going to be source of, is there some kind of salad, vegetables also? And if there is nothing available, I order side salad or vegetables. And then, it's about deciding what is source of carbs. And this is just the way of thinking how you can go, because especially here in Italy, we often ask that what you want to eat. That is it you want to eat pasta, you want to eat rice, you want to eat potatoes, and it's basically source of carbs. And but if you can shift that thinking, that starting first to think about proteins and then going on source of carbs, what is fitting with that, what is going to be your source of protein. So this is kind of my way of thinking, and what probably can help you to think also, because, if you don't mind, if you have in menu, you see that there's 3 options. One of them don't have basically any source of protein, and other one, wow, okay, there is some fish, there is some meat. What could be a great source of protein? Then how much of it is, and how much of that, and then you can find a ways if you can have at least some source of protein. And then other great example was that when we were eating and looked at menu, and I was surprised that in Mongolia, because I don't see so often here in Italy, but they had actually calories of each meal. And one day I felt like that we were long there and only eating meat all the time, and kind of missing my Italian food. I was thinking that they had a pizza, and I was like, wow, pizza sounds good, that I really want that. But then I saw the menu that there were calories, and I looked at pizza, 1,800 calories. I was like, oh, no. This is not something I was like that, okay, pizza sounds good, but 1,800 calories? No way. And then I was asking myself, do I really need it? And I was like, no, I can have my pizza when I'm in Italy if I want, but now here I go for something else. And then I found some pasta which had 700 calories. So I was like, okay, this is now, maybe it's not the most optimal way, but it's over 1,000 calories less. So I decided to go for pasta. And then later on, I was thinking like that my friend who I was eating, and he didn't look. I was like that. Wow, 1,800 calories, and what kind? I was just wondering that what kind of pizza is that? And my friend said that he wanted to have a pizza. He took that pizza, and when that pizza came out, it was like so much fat and everything like. And I was like that. Oh, holy shit! I'm so happy that I didn't decide even that pizza sounded good, but it didn't look the way how I imagine it. And my good friend took it, and he was eating, I think, half of it, and then saved less rest for later. But I was just so happy with that choice. So these are all kind of decisions what you can make, and if you have that possibility to look calories, everything, and it's not everything like depending where you are coming from, but it's always what sounds like a good. Maybe it's not all about what it actually is, and these like I said, these are just small things at the time when you make these kind of decisions, but in the long run, like it makes such a huge difference. Like imagine you are traveling for a week, you decide every time for that higher calorie option, you have end of the week 1,000 calories per meal. Maybe it's 2 times per day more without actually even noticing. And in the end of the week, end of the month, that makes such a big difference. If it's 1 week, it doesn't make that big difference, but in the long run, especially if you are traveling more often, these kind of decisions can be a life and game changer. So, but part of that, those were just small things what I decided to make. And other thing is that because, like I said, I wanted to eat what I want, but I had a rule for myself that I'm going to eat as low as I can. So, because we had for example, buffet where we could go to get in, and there were so many options. Everything looked good. I wanted to try everything. And the rule what I had was that I take just a little bit for the first time. I eat as low as I can, try to talk with the guys, having conversation, letting the time pass, and win time for myself before going to get second round. Because earlier I would probably go to eat with my eyes and take that plate as full as I can, and then going as fast as I can. Probably like I was hungry. Usually I'm hungry when I go to eat, and going way too fast. And then after an hour, you are like, oh, that was way too much. But now at this time, I was just smarter and not taking first time, waiting for a little bit. And then when I still felt, I went to get something more. And this is just my ways how I approach this line. And these are just that, if you don't believe me, try these kind of things that it's not about what you are eating, it's about more about how much you are eating. Also, good example was one of my friends. Like I said earlier, I like to look this always as a fitness. I don't talk about. I don't like to enjoy talking if I'm with the friends who are not have nothing to do with the fitness. We talk something else and fitness, but it's still always in my back mind something. And we were. One situation where we were a little bit late in a buffet, and they said at the restaurant that they will close it very soon. And if somebody wants that, now it's time to go to get for kind of like a last order. And by the way, this is same thing if you are somewhere drinking or something and it's last order. Oh, let's go for one more or three more that we have enough. And this was same with the food, like that there was kind of that little bit scarcity that now it's over, you can't go anymore. And my friend went there, and he was loading his plate full way too much, and then he was like that he had like a couple breads, and then he was asking, could you eat this bread? I said, no thank you, I had enough. I don't want to eat any more than I need. And he finished everything. I was seeing that he was struggling, but he finished everything. And that reminded me like that way how I was educated, how I was coming from my parents. Like obviously they didn't do anything bad about it. They did for sure everything they knew. But I asked my friend and asked that if you were educated as a child to finish everything. And he said, yeah. He said, yeah, I kind of guess it, because the way like how I was educated, and I'm still struggling with that, but trying to get rid of that habit, because it's a very bad habit to have, that you have to finish everything. And then obviously he said that it's that's how he was educated. And then I asked that, to who you made favor now, that you were finishing that your plate empty when you were actually already enough, or would you, if you would leave that piece of bread or something behind, because anyway, it was a buffet, probably they were throwing anyways all food away, or if you are leaving some piece behind, to who you are making favor, then that you are overeating, than leaving that food behind. Like, obviously it all starts that you don't have to take as much as you need. Like what I at least in this situation, like I said, it's far from perfect how I am, but at least in this situation, I remember that, okay, I take a little bit less, and next food, I will not die. There will be next food available within next couple hours. So it's not going to be end of the world, even if I would be still hungry. And often what happens that when you eat, you are actually, it feels that you are still hungry, but if you wait that 15, 20 minutes, you recognize that you are actually not that hungry than you think, and it's more than enough. And these are just the ways how I see, and things from my friends, from myself, and how we are actually learned what kind of behaviors and where they are coming from. And this is like, I hope my friend learned also something, that he don't actually he doesn't do any favor for anyone to finishing everything. And next time, if you want to avoid that feeling of leaving something behind, then just even if it's a last order, it's not what it's going to change if you take a bit less, and or you take it with you or store it for next time, that you don't have to waste any food. Then about other tip for traveling is alcoholic beverages. So this is something, to be totally honest with you, I was drinking probably way too much, or at least a lot more than I'm used to. And this is something that what my tips for that, it's obviously you decide before. And that is what when I talk with my clients, and it's very hard thing to do in real situations, like social situations, especially if you are surrounded with the people who are drinking a lot and drinking, they are asking that you want one more or one more. And how is that? Then there's that last order and one more, and it's never ending story. And for this, how to approach it is the best way. What I know that is to decide before that how many of beverages you are going to drink. If it's going to be 2, if it's going to be 3, and if it's more than that, then that more you go, it's probably harder to control how many you are going to actually drink. But if you decide that it's going to be 1, it's going to be 2, and stick with that number. And that is the hardest part in especially in social situations, because it's that social pressure. And if you are surrounded with or like I was talking in a plane when I went with some business manager from some company, and that's their thing to do. Like everybody expecting that you are kind of boss of many people, meeting new clients, new people. You have to lead the way, and you're supposed to be a host and drink with everybody. And that is the hardest part, to find a ways to avoid it, and to not at least do it every single time, because it's not that probably you naturally enjoy going out and having that kind of nights 3 times, 4 times a week, and there to finding a ways like that. When I talk with my clients, for example, I said that you have to think it this way. If you are, let's say that you are a woman, you are pregnant, and you say that you can't drink because you are pregnant. That's end of discussion. Nobody's accepting or asking why you don't drink one more. That's no problem. It's the same thing if you are, let's say you are a vegan, you go to some restaurant and somebody asks that you want to have some meat. Says, no, thank you. I'm a vegan. And nobody's asking why you don't eat meat. And it's same thing with kind of with alcohol. If you find a ways like what I love to share with my clients is that, find some excuse or something, it don't necessarily have to be true. But if you say that, for example, you take some medicine that you are not allowed to drink alcohol, then, everybody's accepting that. So, okay, yeah, I'm on antibiotics. I can't have some alcoholic beverages. Or you say that, other good way to how to approach it is to tell, like, to be honest, like what I love, what usually people respect a lot is that, you tell that I'm doing a challenge. I try to improve my health, and I do challenge for 1 month without alcohol. And most of the people, they are like, wow, respect that you are doing a challenge with yourself, and that could, like, how many days you are in. And these are kind of things and strategies what most people, they accept. Because if you are just in a social situation and tell that, I'm just, I had a tube, but I don't want to have more. That's kind of, it's very hard. And because people especially in that social situations, they don't usually accept that, why you are so boring, why you don't want to have one more. But especially if you have more often those kind of situations, that they sometimes using that kind of phrases and excuses to not have anything. And it's just about finding a ways how to tell it, and what that, that it's that you are not feeling that you are kind of out of the group or something. But if there is somebody, in a group saying that, I'm pregnant, I can't drink, that's end of discussion. Nobody's asking you more. And then a couple more things. What was about working out, and for me it was like I said, I have been working out consistently, doing my strength training. I decided already before that it's going to be those 10 days, 2 weeks, that I'm not going to do basically anything. I do what I enjoy, but I'm not going to work out because I felt like that my body also needed a break. And we had a great gym, and actually went there for 2 times in a week. And I was like that, okay, what should I do now? And then I decided, okay, it's what I didn't need to do it, but I felt like that it's more important to keep that habit up and doing something. So I decided to do 3 exercises each day, 2 sets of each. Like the most beneficial. I didn't use any heavy weights or going even close to failure. It was more about kind of reminder for my body to become stronger, build that kind of signals of building muscles, doing some exercise, using some kind of resistance. So I did the most beneficial. What I was thinking, like, what could I do? I did, okay, some kind of squat or leg exercise. Other day I did squats. Other day it was deadlifts. Then some kind of push movement. Other day I was doing shoulder presses. Other day bench press. And then some kind of back exercise, like kind of pull movement. And one day was just a dumbbell rows, and other day was lat pull down or pull ups. So those were just 3 simple exercises. I decided 10 to 12 reps with decent amount of weight, and that's all I did. And inside of me, I felt like that, I'm losing all progress. But now when I just had on Saturday, first strength training session after 15, 16 days. And it felt like that, wow, I was scared, and I thought that I lost all my progress, but it was completely opposite. I was actually feeling like a lot more rested, my strength was not gone, or actually quite opposite. I felt almost better than long time ever. So it was probably like, because like in my case, I have been so consistent with doing it, and every once in a while, some kind of break is only doing good. And for this, there are actually quite interesting studies also. Like, for example, the best study is to let you know that it's not about that how you feel, but what is actually happening. Because if, for example, there is a good study, was a controlled study with 16 weeks. Other group was strength training 3 times a week, every single week for 16 weeks. Other group had 3 weeks on, 1 week off for same 16 weeks. End of this 16 weeks, both groups had more or less same results. I think there was even a little bit better, like there was no significant difference. So both groups made progress, and there was no difference between these groups, which other group had 3 weeks on, 1 week off, or if you were doing all the time. So this is the benefit of strength training, that, you know, it takes a lot of time to build muscle, but it also takes a lot of time to lose it. So it's every once in a while having a week off or kind of deload week, which means a kind of easier week. It's not doing any harm. It's actually, in most cases, it's doing only good. And I can only confirm this in my case. This is, and what you can do if you are someone who is struggling, for example, with consistency. It's more about keeping that promise. If you make promise to yourself that you are going to work out 3 times a week, then let it be that you start your workout 3 times a week, especially in a week when you have a busy schedule. If you are traveling, you are on vacation, you don't feel like doing it, but take 10 minutes, 15 minutes like I did. It was 15-minute workout maximum with good rests, 3 exercises, 2 sets of feet, and that's it. It can be, if you don't have access to gym, just some body weight exercise. You might feel that it doesn't bring anything to do some body weight squats, but they are a lot more valuable than you can even imagine. It's more about sending those right muscle building signals to your body than actually going to failure every single time. So it's so beneficial, and especially in the weeks if you are traveling, you know, you can do at your hotel room, and more than making some progress, it's more about keeping that habit up and keeping, first of all, the promise what you make to yourself, that I'm not going to miss my workouts I'm doing. If I promise to work out for myself 2 times a week or 3 times a week, or whatever that number is, that you get at least started that time. And if you can do strength training, do some mobility exercises or something else, or do stretching, but start taking action and focus more on things what you can impact instead of what you can't. And then funny thing was, after the trip, when I got home, I felt a little bit sick. So I had a fever. I haven't been sick for can't remember years. I had a COVID in, I think it was 2020. And since that, I haven't been sick. And before COVID, I was, I think, decade without having than something more serious than some little cold or something, but never fever or anything felt like sick. And now after the trip, I was like, okay, now Saturday, like Thursday, I felt a little bit sick. Then Friday was all good. Saturday did my workouts and gardening, and Saturday evening got fever again. And Sunday laying in a bed, I planned that, okay, now I just want to get back on track, couldn't get back on track, and felt like inside of me that this is not ending up good. I lose all my progress. But as I said, today workout felt probably better than ever. And it's I think it's somehow like, obviously it always sucks to be sick, but at some point it might be only a good thing, as you are forced to take some break. If you are someone who is working hard and not giving your body time to recover, because mentally I was like that, I need to do something. But then I was thinking like that, you know, at this point, what can I do? I'm feeling sick. Only thing what I can do is lay down, wait, drink a lot of water, and I'm getting better. If I would be a little bit less sick, I would probably think that what can I do? I didn't feel for sure doing some strength training sessions, but could I do something else, like mobility exercise, stretching, which are like not that hard for your body. And that kind of things like you can always do. And it's all about like focusing on what you can control, what you can do instead of what you can't, because it's so much easier to focus on that. I can't do this, so I'm not going to do anything. But there is almost always something you can do, unless if you are really sick, then it's really better to rest. But that is hardest part. It's mostly that mental part. What is causing that struggle? In physiological part, week, 2 weeks, it doesn't make any difference. Like if you think it opposite, if you are doing everything perfectly for a week or 2 weeks, you are not going to see any huge amount of progress. So it's going to be same way also on opposite. And but that is in your mind, it's probably you are telling that I will lose all my progress, but it's honest truth is it's totally opposite. And if you are sick, don't worry about it. Get rested. And the only thing what matters is that when you are feeling good again, because it's only a matter of time when you will, then how fast you are getting back on track and what you are doing. And if you are depending how long you have been sick, like for example, for me today, I didn't try to go my personal bests or anything. I started very low and then see how I feel actually. And when I felt good, then I step by step raised a little bit weight, raised intensity. And basically the first workout was to get back on that habit and not aiming to be even close to perfect, but because ultimately it's all what matters is that how fast you are getting back on track after being on vacation, after missing workouts, after not able to be working out, is that getting back on track on normal routine. So this was a long talk. If you are still listening, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you find some value from this episode. And if you have any questions, shoot me email, turo@fitmitturo.com, or if you need any help, just the same email address. You can check my website for coaching links if you are interested for coaching, accountability, more strategies like this for traveling to your fitness. And I'm more than happy to help, but it's not all about selling. I enjoy what I do and would appreciate if you share this episode with someone who you know is traveling a lot, struggling with these mental hurdles, what I just talked. So would really, really appreciate it. So thank you so much for listening, and talk to you soon.
Hold up, friend. Do you love FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast? If so, the best way to say thank you is to subscribe to the podcast and leave a review on iTunes. I know every podcaster wants you to leave a review, but it's because those reviews help the podcast to reach more people. I truly want to know what you think, and if this particular episode resonated with you, would you also please share it? Either send a link to someone who you think will find it valuable, or take a screenshot and post it into your social media and tell your friends and family why they should listen it. Make sure you tag me so I can hear your feedback and give you a little love. And if you aren't already following me on Instagram or TikTok, that's the perfect time to hit that follow button. Thank you for being here and listening to FitMitTuro Fitness Podcast.